Hey guys, Constance here. Welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So this will be the second video that you see me wearing my chicken apron and my blue top today, or this week I should say, because I'm filming two videos today. I filmed a wonderful dessert recipe and that video will have already gone up most likely, so if it has, I'll put a link down below for that. But today I'm making another easy dinner recipe. So I just recently shared a cooking recipe video where I made cabbage roll soup, and that's where you take all of the wonderful flavor and elements of cabbage rolls and you turn it into a soup, which makes it a lot easier to make, much less hands-on time, and you just enjoy everything wonderful about a cabbage roll. Well, this one is kind of similar in that it takes another sort of hands-on dish and turns it into something much easier and kind of easy to serve as well. Stuffed pepper casserole. Now, the first time I made this casserole for Mr. Smith, he declared it was his favorite casserole, hands down, of all time. And yes, I do know that I'm always saying something is his favorite, but he's always saying it's his favorite. So, this is definitely one of his top all-time favorite casserole dishes, stuffed pepper casserole. So already I diced up an onion and I put it in my pan here with a pound of ground beef and 3 cloves of minced garlic, and I've cooked that all together until the ground beef was nice and browned, and I've diced up 2 good-sized bell peppers. Alright, so I've got my mixing bowl here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to toss in my 2 bell peppers that I diced up. And this is kind of one of those mix it all together and slap it in a pan and bake it kind of recipes. Super, super easy to make. Alright, next I'm going to add in 1 can of tomato sauce. If you are using home canned tomato sauce, then you would just use a pint. And you know, I do make a lot of my own home canned goods, but I like to keep a rotation in my pantry. Anything that's older gets used first. So even though I just canned a whole bunch of tomato sauce made from tomatoes in the garden, these canned goods are older. I want to use them up. So I will use all of these before I work on my homemade thing. Next I'm going to add in a can of diced tomatoes, and today I'm actually going to use fire roasted diced tomatoes. But fire roasted or diced, you know, either one is fine. Alright, I'm going to put in a half a cup of long grain rice that is uncooked. 1 cup of frozen whole kernel corn. Grab a measuring spoon. A tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Half a teaspoon of salt. And a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then I'm going to add in my ground beef mixture with the diced onion and the garlic. And we're just going to add that all in right now. I use a really lean ground beef for this, so I didn't need to drain any grease or anything like that. But if you've got a lot of excess drippings, you might want to go ahead and just kind of get rid of that before you put this all together. I'm just going to stir this all together. Alright, and then the last thing that goes in is a half a cup of beef broth. quick stir. And let me move this stuff out of the way real quick and grab my baking dish. So now I've got a 9 by 13 baking dish. You could use one that's a little bit smaller as well. I have an oval one that I use sometimes. And we're just going to pour all of this into the pan. Get every last little bit out of there. Spread that out. Now we don't want to lose any of the liquid that is in there while this is baking because we've got that uncooked rice. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this with a sheet of aluminum foil. And I'm going to pinch the edges nice and snug. Alright, so this is going to go into the oven at 350 degrees for 1 hour. Okay, guys, so my casserole just got done cooking or baking for an hour. So I'm carefully taking the top off so I don't burn myself with the steam. And now the very last thing to finish this off is some mozzarella cheese. I'm going to put 8 ounces of shredded cheese all over the top. And then I'm just going to pop this back into the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes or so until the cheese is nice and bubbly. And then we'll just let it rest for about 5 minutes before we dig into it. Alright, you guys, so this recipe is finished up. We've got the cheese all melted on top. It's a little bit golden. Perfect. And so as you saw, this is a super easy recipe. This is great for potlucks and really any time you would want a casserole, and it's all of the flavor of a stuffed pepper without having to stuff any peppers. You've got the rice, the tomatoes, the cheese, the ground beef, all that good stuff. So if you would like to give this recipe a try, you can find a printable version of it on my website, and I will put a link to that underneath this video if you are watching this here on YouTube. So thanks for hanging out with me here again at A Good Life Farm. I'll talk to y'all next time.